How you feeling, Andy?
I'm ready for a nap.
Holy shit. All right, so listen, we just got to Texas. We fasted for 24 hours, and let me tell you something. This had no chance. Here you go. Yeah, here you go, thanks. Yeah. Listen, no chance. Tex Mex, this is my first experience with it. We're in San Antonio right now. Andy and I have been working on supply chain. Anyways, we're going to meet with San Antonio Shoe, SAS Shoe. The founder of this company, interesting story, his name was Lou Hayden. He's from Maine. He's from Wilton, Maine, actually, where I'm from, Franklin County, Maine. And he was one of the old shoe dogs who built an iconic business and moved to Texas and has two large factories down here. He's passed. I never got the chance. I'm going to turn this mic on here so you can hear me a little better. So I never got the chance to talk to this guy, although oddly enough, in the little town I live in, 700 people, he used to frequent this location because there's a beautiful lake out there, and my best friend growing up, his dad married one of his nieces or something. Thank you very much. And so I used to be there at the lake with him all the time. And I never had the gumption because we had just built a factory. I had kind of all these dreams and aspirations, and this guy was running a $1 billion company. I kind of never had the chops to go up and have a conversation with him about business. Just more so that what business do I have trying to have a conversation with this guy, who had built something iconic, and he's on vacation and he's there with his wife, and I just didn't want to bother him. I want to tell you, if I ever run into you, if you follow this vlog and you have a question or you want to chat, stop me. I don't care if you're a young kid just getting out of college, graduating, if you're in business, if you have a question. I was just in the airport a few hours ago in Atlanta, and somebody came up and they're like, "Hey, I just wanted to introduce myself and say I love everything you're doing." And I was like, "Yeah, man, what's your name?" And then I was standing in the line. Funny enough, I was standing in the line to get on the plane, and the boarding line, and a guy in front of me. I looked down and I'm like, "Nice boots." And he's like, "Oh yeah, these are Origin." And I was like, "Sweet, man, Origin's great." And he's like, "Yeah, check out my pants too. These are Origin too. They were Moab pants." And then he saw my sling sack that I've been carrying. He's like, "Oh, Origin, you like Origin?" And I was like, "Man, I love Origin." He had no idea. But it was tremendous to see just the brand out in the wild. So, don't do what I did. If I could have gone back, I would have just pulled up a chair next to the guy and told him I just built a factory. I found a couple of old sewing machines, and I would have told him what we were trying to do. And maybe he would have given me a little bit of wisdom to help me avoid making a massive tuition payment. I wouldn't have changed the way anything worked out for us, but I would have taken that I would have taken advantage of that situation again if I went back there. So if you ever run into me, don't do that. And I'm not that dude. He built something huge and iconic, and we're down here as Origin to go see what he built. And I'm going to share with the CEO today that we actually have his original patterns, because a friend of mine bought his old house, and in the barn, covered up, was his original patterns when he started the company. And it has, we got some shoe lasts in a rack and some really, really cool stuff. And it just shows how he started in a barn too. That dude started in a barn just cutting stuff out of wood, trying to figure it out. Of course, he had more institutional knowledge because there was footwear manufacturing back then in a big way. But everybody's got to start somewhere, and I think that's the key for me, and the moral of the story is everybody starts somewhere. No one gets to where they're going without paying the tuition, without having conversations, seeking advisement, and so we're doing the same. We're here in San Antonio, Texas, Going to go to San Antonio Shoe and see if there's a way that we can learn from them. See if there's a way we can work together. And I'm just looking forward to all the years of tuition they paid and trying to avoid some of the mistakes we're going to make as we dive deeper into footwear manufacturing. Because if you've been following this channel, you know I've said I'm bullish on footwear. I'm bullish on it, and they do it the best in America. So I'll bring inside the factory in a few, hopefully, if they let me. So where are we headed, Andy? San Angelo, and they would not let us film in San Antonio Shoe, but we're driving from San Antonio. I can't get these names. I'm like Los this, Sans that. Listen, I failed Spanish 1 in high school twice. 2 times. The second time, my teacher, Ms. Dimmick, she said, Peter, I'm going to pass you this class on one condition. And I said, I'll do whatever it takes. And she said, if you never take a Spanish class from me for the rest of your high school career. I shook her hand, and that was a deal. And she gave me like a D plus instead of an F.
It shows.
True story. Yeah, it shows. Anyway, so we couldn't take you inside the facility, but tremendous to see. And I'm going to let you look at what we're seeing here, so you don't have to look at my face. Tremendous to see just their facility. It was awesome. They've been doing this shit forever. The guy who met us, who runs the plant, guess where he's from? He's from freaking Maine. Like literally 20 minutes. He's like, yeah, there's a bunch of people here from Maine because they got recruited to come down from Maine to Texas to drive this brand, to run this factory, San Antonio Shoe. So it was pretty awesome seeing that and all the knowledge that those guys had, and we knew a lot of the same people and whatnot. And he told us some pretty interesting stories about when the whole facility burned down, and they basically, what year was that? Was it 90s? Maybe late 90s, early 2000s. And in 3 months, they had it back up and running again. 3 freaking months. It's crazy. But they're pumping out like 2,000 pairs of footwear or more out of this one plant, and there's another plant, which is crazy. Again, I wish I could have showed you. And then we got to sit down with the CEO of San Antonio Shoe also, and she was awesome. She very knowledgeable. Picked her brain about retail expansion. You know, I'm really thinking about this retail channel and how to activate against these ideas without getting over our skis, because the retail landscape is much different than what we're used to. So she gave us some good insights there, and it was just a warm conversation. So anyways, planted the seed, made that connection, and I'm hoping we can work with them. I'm hoping they can help us actually with our sneaker project. They've been making sneakers for freaking feels like 100 years. They have like a museum and everything there. So they know feet. They don't just know footwear. They know feet. And what I mean by that is they still, like, they took us into their store, and I'm wearing some of their sneakers right now, and like measured our feet the old school way. And they're like, oh yeah, this is your size. This is the actual size foot you're at. And then they make like a million different sizes, like wides and narrows and super wides and all sorts of shit. It's freaking crazy. They have their own machine shop where they make their own lasts. So they'll carve wood, and then they have these machines that cut plastic and they make their own lasts. They even make their own dyes. They even have a water jet machine to cut their own dyes. I mean, it's crazy. It's full vertical integration. It's mind blowing to me. So I'm hoping to hoping to pick up some knowledge and hopefully work with them in the future. Even planted the seed of like, would you guys carry Origin in your stores? Because they have, I don't know, 150 stores around the country. Wouldn't that be kind of cool if you could go into a SAS store and buy some Origin jeans and boots and other things? So anyways, out on the road, vendor relationships, supply chain. Andy and I were talking about this supply chain and how us two are doing it. Sourcing. Why is Andy SVP of Ops and the founder / CEO sourcing? Because it's the most important thing for us to do right now. And I put my efforts into places that will have, I would say into places that are the most fragile and will have the biggest impact. And I'm going to get pulled over if I don't slow down, because there's a cop with lights on, and I think that was for me.
He's already pulled over.
Okay, so I'm going 85. I'm good. My efforts into, it's not into everything, it's where I can have the most impact, and right now that's sourcing. And so this whole year I've been sourcing. As a matter of fact, we're driving right now to West Texas, to a cotton field in Sundown, Texas, to talk with a farmer who's growing how many millions of pounds of cotton a year? Was it? What does he have, 3,000 acres?
5 million?
I don't know, millions of pounds. Origin could consume probably 25% of his total crop if we were to do a deal with him. But we're working through that. So just building relationships. Again, you've heard me say it. I'll keep saying it. As long as I do these vlogs, I'm out on the road, not behind a screen, meeting people, warm bodies in rooms, shaking hands, having a real conversation, and spending time to build relationships. And that's what builds epic businesses. If you're looking to build an empire, not just a business, an empire is something that lasts and transcends yourself. An empire is not about selling products. It's about building a meaning and purpose and community that lasts, and not the mass entry, mass exit, quick, down and dirty, cheap and cheerful goods. It's much different. Quality and durability, and how to gain customer trust, which you do in drips and lose in buckets. So it's got to be done slow, methodical, and timely. And so if building relationships and supply chains is the biggest risk to that, well, that's why I'm on the road now, driving 6 hours to West Texas. All right, one last look at the road ahead. Sun looks the same from everywhere in the world. What does that mean? Everybody's got the same chance, especially if you live in America.